Hello and welcome to a new video of this course. And if you weren't following since the beginning, this is a complete training course for automating VMware vSphere operations using Terraform. You will find the description to the entire playlist of the videos below in the description. Okay, what are we going to do this time? So this time we are going to previously. We have already deployed new resources, new VMs, but what about your existing VMs that you'd like to import? I'm not assuming that you have a greenfield of vSphere environment and you're starting to use and deploy VMs from scratch with Terraform. You must have existing workloads and existing virtual machines that you need to import to your Terraform code to be able to manage it using Terraform. So in this episode we will go through cons and pros and how to import the existing VMs. So let me go to my lab. Okay, I have this single VM that I will be importing, and in the very end of the video I will give you a few tips on how to import all of your VMs. All right. But for the time of the course, we can't import more than just one, and I have few things to tweak. So we have a lot of things to do in this video. So let's get started. And how does it actually work? If you remember from the previous lessons, we used to create a new folder for the Terraform code, new code, new code files, and but how to import an existing one. We are not going to deploy it, we are going just to import it. It's quite similar to the definition procedure. So we need to create new directory or folder for Terraform and new file or files to define the resource. So the process is pretty straightforward. Importing an existing resource is quite similar to the declaration method of a new VM that you'd like to deploy. So it will get clearer in a second. So let's create, as usual, a new directory here for our lesson. So let me call it, I think the 007-terraform-import VM. Okay, and you can copy any of the previously used code. In my case, I have already previous code that I can use for any VM, and then you will tweak and make the necessary changes to the code to match the existing resource. Okay, I will copy which one should I use? No, let me use it from here. Maybe this virtual machine. So I will copy, as usual, the data file, the main, the providers, the variables, only these files. And let's go to the new directory here for this lesson, paste, and let me just clean up here and close all of these. Right. And also clear this terminal a bit. All right, what do we have? This is not necessary. What do we have here? Okay, we have the data file. We need to make changes to a few of these. So we have an existing code, we copied it. You can of course start from scratch, but I'd suggest that you just copy any of the existing code files that you have to save you some time. And we need to update the parameters across all of these files to match the existing virtual machine. Okay, so we need to know how much memory is in use. Basically just the hardware configuration. So let's go to the edit, and don't worry, I will give you a few tips in the end of this video on how to import bulk VMs. All right, so we need to translate that configuration here to code. And I have few errors that are prepared to pop up intentionally, just to show you, yeah, what you may come across, not just a piece of code from paradise that you run and it runs with no issues. Yeah, I really like to go through few issues with you guys so you can learn how to tackle them. All right, so as I've mentioned in the beginning of this course, so the data, all of these data parameters here are to fetch information from the existing resources, for example, a cluster or a data center, and yeah, to capture data to pass it through to other to the resources that we'd like to create. So let's go through these. The data center name is data center, and yes, it's called data center here, if you can see it. Okay, the VLAN that this VM is currently attached to, the data store. It's the same exact data store that I have, so I don't need to update that one. So here is the VM, and this is the data store. Where is it? Yes, the same data store as in the code. Let's go back to the code and see what else needs to be updated. The name of the cluster, it's the exact same name of the cluster, so I don't need to touch this. The VLAN, I guess it's different. So this is the VLAN attached to that VM in that code, but we definitely need to update it accordingly. So what's the VLAN in here? It's VLAN 102, and is it here VLAN 102? No, it's VLAN 101, so we need to make this please 102 to make a successful import for the VM. All right, the virtual machine's name, it's coincidentally it's the same. No, actually this is not the same name. Let me check something, because I guess I'd rather to make, yeah, it's fine, it's fine. So the virtual machines, this is the name of the template. Okay, and the name of the VLAN is updated. This is the name of the template that was used to clone, so it's fine. Let's keep it as is. What else needs to be? Yeah, let's go to the main file here. Okay, so this is the virtual machine's name, and coincidentally it's the same name. It was previously deployed using that code, but yeah, now let's assume that it's an existing VM that you'd like to import. Let's keep everything here as is. Yeah, it's this. Yeah, the block of code, I'll keep it as is. The variable, it has the same name. Let's go to the variables. So under the variables here, let me put the password to my vCenter server, and yeah, now you know my password to the password of my home lab. Yeah. The parameters of the VM. The virtual machine host name and the virtual machine name are the exact ones as here, coincidentally, but you should update it on your code accordingly. Okay. The CPU, the count of the CPU. Here, this machine, the existing machine that we would like to import, has 4 CPUs assigned and 3 gigs of memory. So let's go to our code. So this should be, the CPU here should be 4, and the memory can be just 1 gig, as in here. It should be 3 gigs, which is you know what? Let's make it 2 gigs, and I will let you know why in a second. Okay. And by the way, you should never make any changes to the VM during the import. Make the import, make sure that everything is healthy, everything is fine, then you can make any changes, according to your needs. Let's go to the main file. All of these are variables, and we don't need to worry that much about them. Let's keep this as is for now for a reason, and I think we are good to give it a try and test. Okay, so let's navigate here to the directory, and it's 007, yeah, and it's a brand new Terraform directory, and guess what? Yeah, you need to initialize the directory first. So if you remember from the previous lessons, Terraform init. Let's see if we face any issues or errors. Hopefully not. Yeah, it's green. Voila. And Terraform plan. All right. But we should actually do something before the plan. Ignore that step here, because yeah, we need to import the resource first before we plan. Yeah. Let's give it a second to fail, and then we will get back to it. So let's go to a web browser, and now we need to import. So for importing, we need to use the Terraform import command. So let's go to Google and say Terraform vSphere VM import, for example. Imports. Okay, yeah. So vSphere here, and this is the usual page that we use for Terraform code for the vSphere virtual machines, and you need to go to the very bottom of the page, or just look for Terraform Terraform import. Here's an example of the command. This is how to import a VM, and please go through these important notes. So we need to do the import, and once it's successful, we need to run a plan, and we have to run an apply to finalize the import process, because it will keep a tag or a value for a parameter that is called imported equals true, and that one should be changed to false. You will understand in a second. So yeah, I'd urge you to go through these notes here, yeah, for an easy import for your VM. Let's copy the command. Where was it? Yeah, so let's take this command as an example, and I will explain in a second the different pieces here and there. That one should fail. It did not fail. All right. Okay. Let's abort this. Yeah, it should. Okay. So it planned something, but just ignore it. Please ignore it. Let's just import the resource. So we need to make here a few changes to this command accordingly. So first step, you need to initialize the directory. The second step is to run the Terraform import, and then the plan. Okay. So it says here Terraform import a vSphere virtual machine .vm, and this refers to the name or the label of the resource block. Okay, and in our case it's not called VM, but it's called, yeah, let's go here to, yeah, this is the name of the block. Remember, the name of the block, not the name of the machine, because you may give the block a name that is different from the virtual machine. I don't know why you would do this, but just in case. So let's copy that and this and paste it here under, pastes, cool. And this is the path to the VM. So what does that mean here? It means here it means the data center name, and then the folder name or the directory name where the VM is located, and then, yeah, the name of maybe another folder or another resource pool, who knows, and then in the end here the name of the VM. Okay, we don't need all of that. In my case, I have the VM just located on the default directory of the vCenter. Where was it? Yeah, let's skip this, and here If we go to the view of the virtual machines, so yeah, no directories, only the data center here, and my VM, which is this one. It's not located under any directory, it's directly located under the data center itself. In that case, if you have no folders for the VMs, you need to use the name VM. But let me just make the necessary changes here. My data center name is data center. I have no directories for containing the VMs, so it should be the value VM, which is the default folder that you cannot see on the vCenter interface, the vSphere client. Okay, and here you should put the name of the VM. Coincidentally, it's the name, the same exact name as the resource, resource block. So this is the name of the VM. Let's run this and see what happens. Is it going to find it? No, it cannot. Error fetching the VM data center VM. Yeah. Because I have a mistake here. Actually, yeah, the VM name here has a 02, and over there it's not. It misses a value here. Okay, so now we have faced an error, which is fine. I'm really happy with that. So now we know how to troubleshoot. Voila. Okay, the import is successful, and let's keep actually an open window to the VM because I need to show you what's gonna happen next. Okay, now after the import is completed, as you can see here below the message, let's run Terraform plan. Okay. Let me check something. Okay. All right. What does it say here? Okay. Let's go through this very carefully before we finalize to have the import process successful. So here it says 0 add, which is fine. So, but it is going to make one change. Some of the changes are acceptable during the import process, but yeah, be very, very careful when you read. You need to read this very carefully. So let's read and see. It's going to make update in place. What is it going to change here? Yeah, the status of the VM is imported. Yes, it's going to be changed from true to false, and it's a necessary step. It's a thing that you don't do yourself manually. I mean, you don't define this parameter yourself, but you need to run a Terraform apply to have this changed to false. There is a change to the memory. See, this is not desirable. Do not make any changes during the import because this will reboot your VM, or of course depending on the nature of the change that you're going to make. Import and then make changes later if needed. So yeah, it detected that the memory is going to be 2 gigs. However, it's actually 3 gigs, so it's a thing that I need to fix. Let's fix it on the fly. Let's go to the variables. Variables. Yeah, so let's change this from 2 gigs to 3 gigs. Save this file. What else needs to be changed? And the SATA controller count is going to be changed from 1 to 0, which is fine. I have no SATA controllers at all. Instead, I have a SCSI. Let's go again and check. You need to be very careful when you verify, huh? I have here just a SCSI controller. I have no SATA controller, so all right, I don't care. Yeah, so yeah, I have this one here, of course, but yeah, I don't care. It's not in use, so it can make the change, and actually no changes will be really made. We will compare once it's done. So ignore this for now, but be very sure that this won't affect your production, depending on your use case. The clone, nothing is going really to be changed in here. This is fine. No changes here. The disk, oh, be very careful. So here it's going to delete the disk, and it will create a new disk which is going to reboot the VM and destroy your machine, actually partially. Yeah, removing your operating system disk. So be very careful. Why is that? So the disk is hard disk 1, the label. Let's go to the VM here, and yeah, the disk here is labeled also hard disk. However, this is case sensitive, so it's hard disk, and the D here is capital, and the D is in my code. The copied code is lowercase, so we need to fix this as well. So let's go to the main file of my machine, and this D needs to be okay, this is supposed to be correct. Hold on, maybe I just need to double check this before. Yeah, this is a lowercase, I beg your pardon. So this is yeah, I got confused. I said uppercase and it was actually lowercase. So this is a lowercase letter here, and this now should be matching this one. What else of changes? The network interface, the port group is going to be changed, and I need to double verify this. It shouldn't be changed, but it's fine. Yeah, nothing here will be really impacting. But let's just be cautious. Let's save the variables and let's check from the data file. I thought I saved that one. Now it's saved. It's pointing to VLAN 102, and let's double check again. The VM is hooked to where is it? Yeah, Ethernet. Yeah, VLAN 102. Okay, let's run the plan once again and see what happens. So we still here have one change, which is fine. Oh, okay. Yeah, scrolling up a bit, so this will be changed, which is fine. This is going to be, yeah, this is also missing. We need to update this or include this in the code. But let's check the others. So no changes to the memory, no changes to anything here for the VM, except for this. As you can see here, the change to the network VLAN is gone, because yeah, I did not save the data.tf file when I made the change to it. So yeah, be very careful, because this was going to cause an outage, a temporary outage to the network interface of the VM. Yeah, which is not desired, I guess. Okay, let's add the memory hot add, otherwise the machine will be rebooted. To disable this, it will be rebooted, and we don't want this, So let's go to the main file. Let's go here somewhere, wherever you want, under this block of the VM, and I will just paste it in here and say true to match the value below. Let's run and save the file, of course. Don't forget to do this. Let's run the plan once again and see what happens. Everything seems to be fine. The changes to the VM, this is going to be 0, which is fine. The name of the VM is the same, no changes. Yeah, nice. So now I can run the apply command with confidence. Terraform apply. Terraform apply. Yeah, review these again and let's type yes. Okay, it's done, and let's check our VM. The VM is happy, still up and running, nothing got changed. Let's refresh this, and voila, now it's imported. Now you have it in your Terraform code. Now you feel free to make any necessary changes for your terraformed VM. What else do we need to do in here? So now this is imported. Okay, one extra thing we can do here. Everything here seems to be fine. Okay, this code is, I think we are done for that part. And to verify Terraform, run the command terraform show. So it will show you the state of this Terraform code. Terraform show, yes. It's similar to the plan, but it will show you in greater detail. No, not the Terraform plan. It will show you in greater detail all of the imported parameters from the VM. You can, feel free to please to go through it. And defining the information you define here, as much information as possible that you can define, the better, to reduce any kind of changes. Okay, now we are happy. We have imported our VM, but you may have 50 VMs in your environment. You might have 100 VMs, 400 VMs, 1,000 of VMs. How would you import all of these this way? Well, this is the painful part of this import process. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any automation method to do this. You need to define it as if it's a new resource that you're intending to deploy. This is how you can you could achieve this. But few humbles, I can give you a few humble advices to facilitate this. It will take some time. Yeah, you can cooperate with your team members to do the import work. You can't, of course, you can't copy the information of the VMs from here unless you have just 10 VMs or so. And then yeah, please go ahead and do it from here. If I were you, if I have only 10 VMs in my environment, I would use PowerShell. Use PowerCLI or any equivalent reporting or querying tools. Maybe you can use RVTools. You can. It's a GUI application called RVTools. I believe that you know it. Maybe if you don't know it, it's called RVTools. It's a GUI interface. If you are not familiar with PowerShell, but yeah, it will be such a shame if you don't use PowerShell for your day-to-day vSphere automation. Use PowerCLI to generate detailed reports about your VMs. So yeah, it will make a very nice report for you: the VM name, the hardware specs, and the path of the VM, the data center name, etc., 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 the data store, etc., etc., all of these important information, and then you will just copy and paste in your code. This is for unique VMs. What if you have a bulk of identical VMs? Are you going to define each VM the same way? Or if you have VMs in a cluster and all of them are, like a web cluster or something, web server cluster, and all of these are identical VMs, why would I need to spend the time to define 10 or 20 or even more web server cluster members in the code? Okay, if you remember from our previous lesson, we have deployed multiple VMs using just one block of code. You can revert to that lesson to learn about the how-to, and it will make your life very easy to import a bulk of identical VMs. Yep. Yes, so it's the time. Thank you so much for watching this video, and yeah, we are done with this point, and in the upcoming sessions we will be going through other topics, such as creating a cluster, so how to manage a cluster, how to create a new cluster, how to import an existing cluster, how to import hosts. Okay, so yeah, now you know, and thank you so much, and see ya.